Now, a greatest question in India is what is WAQF and whether there is any atrocity on the WAQF or against the WAQF. WAQF is the land, whether land or movable property, movable or immovable property, gifted by a Muslim for the purpose of religious or charitable purpose. But it should be given to some religious group, say WAQF board or whatever it is, some council or commission. So, but the most important thing is that it should be owned by that people. That's why he's saying that Muslim, a man who is supposed to be the correct person who owns the land. So, the Munambam issue is now flaring up all over India. The question whether the land at Munambam, that is 404.76 acres of land, which is occupied by 600 fishermen type of families, whether that land belongs to WAQF or not. In 1971, the Paravur sub-judge in the court declared that it is WAQF land. While in 1975 again on appeal, the High Court confirmed that it is the WAQF property. Actually, there was some misunderstanding in the argument raised. That's what I feel. The land of, we say, Villarvettat in 15th or 16th century, when in 17th century, that is 1658, Ramavarma of Vettat was adopted as king of Cochin. The land and the another brother became a Christian. The king gifted the land to his brother Cochin king to be the property of Cochin kingdom. That Toma Raja's land, the land of the people gifted to Cochin kingdom, could not stand long because the Dutch killed the kings of Vettat in 1662 and 1663 of Cochin in the war at Cochin, and Dutch gave it to the new rulers of Cochin, which is the rulers decided by the Dutch, and they started ruling. By 1757, the Travancore king Marthandavarma sent a big force along with his son and another along with his Dalava, and attacked the Cochin, got lot of land in the treaty at Kandanad, seized the land. Previously it was the land where the spices was exported, nearby Udayperu, nearby Tripunthara. That Kandanad, the treaty was signed. Lot of buildings were destroyed, including 2 churches during the war, it happens. And it was reconstructed by the king, Travancore king. And a lot of properties towards of Cochin was taken by Travancore. And when they signed the treaty, Cochin king told that we need protection from the northern side attack of Zamorin group towards Cochin. So Zamorin and his army men, which were strong, Marakkars, so to prevent that further attack, the land in this area was handed over to, this area means northern area, that is the land of Munambam, Pallipuram, Vaipin. That land was handed over to Travancore. So the Travancore king, after the British treaty in mid-19th century, he found it difficult to maintain the land which is in the father's corner. So in 1902, when a merchant, Abdul Said, you can say, Haji Musa Seth Abdul Fatah. He came and gifted some thing to the merchant gifted naturally, give some gift to the king. So he was given this land of 404.76 acres on lease. Naturally, there were a lot of fishermen staying there, and most of them were Christians, because Portuguese once ruled there, once supported the Villarvetter king and the Cochin king, and they could make a strong base among the poor fishermen folk. But this land, whenever a Travancore government had given a land on lease, means either it can be for a particular period or it can be for a much more permanent period till that land country exists. But this land which is given for agriculture purpose cannot be sold to anybody, or cannot be, another work cannot be done in it. So in 1947, when Travancore acceded to Indian Union, naturally there would have been people would have been afraid what will happen to this land. Prior to that time, Travancore made a rule, that is Puttagapatam rule. Under the Rule 7, under note it is given, the land tax value can be revised to any extent, or it can be revised, or it can be changed. So naturally it means that the owner may not get, the lease owner may not get the land, cannot enjoy the land. If it is raised much, naturally he won't pay, he won't be able to pay. The land will go back to the state. So, anyway, the intelligent Seth gifted the land to his nearest relative, that is Siddiq Seth, in 1948, after this rule came, before the Travancore Cochin merged in 1949. And naturally, Cochin people might have thought the Travancore Cochin, the Cochin area, it came, might have thought he is a real owner. Actually, he is given the land by the Travancore. Any time that can be taken back by the government, Travancore government. So in that situation, when in his name it was given, he was very intelligent. The noble Mr. Seth gifted the land to one college, Farooq College, on the condition, if it is not used for the charitable, that is purpose of the, under the WAQF Act, it should be returned back. Educational purpose, it should be used for the educational purpose. If it is not used, it should be returned back. And question is that how it can be returned back? It should be returned back to the descendants. When the Seth himself was alive, naturally it should have been, these people cannot make it as an educational purpose. This much big land, where already there 404 houses are there, or more than 100 houses are there. What can they do? They sold the land back to the people who were already occupying the land. They sold the land through, naturally college cannot directly give it. So they made a power of attorney and then sold it. If the rules were, naturally they understood very well, if it is sold and if it is the WAQF Act, if it is prevalent, they should give it back to the descendants. But actually, who is the owner of the land? Who can give the land? Can Mr. Siddiq Seth give the land to the college? then can his descendants get back the land? Is it possible? If it is a WAQF land, naturally it can be done. But, so, Siddiq said, what can he do? He cannot go against the rules. But now, in 1971, the lower court at Paru, the sub-judge declared that the land which is already given to the Paru College was a WAQF land, and hence it should be the property of only the WAQF board. Nobody can take it. And again in 1975, the High Court confirmed it is a WAQF board property without going on through the merits. How this Abdul Seth got the land, and for how many years the lease was given, and whether the agriculture land, whether he could have used it for educational purpose, whether the land should be given back to the Seth's family or to the WAQF people. So it became a question. So the government, Kerala government appointed in 2019 one Nisar committee. And the Nisar committee naturally will tell the High Court verdict that it is the WAQF property. And in 2020, the WAQF told that these people who were paying the taxes for decades and decades and decades cannot further enjoy the land, and this became the property of WAQF. Now the government made a rule, Central Government Act, WAQF Act, which states that there should be a proper writing document of the land gifted. So the question, whether he is the real owner, whether he had gifted as WAQF land, why he had given to that land, that college, and what is the condition written in that, and how can he be empowered by his father, who is a tenant, means who is under the lease with the government, give the land, bequeath the land to the person, this person. Whether the Verumbatam, sorry, it's not Verumbatam, it is Kuttaga Patam rule of 1947 of Travagu, whether it was applicable to this land. So naturally, this land will belong only to the persons who are staying there, who are having a hard time in the land. It is not a WAQF land. Let the court say after going through the merits of the land. And now the question is that whether the act can be enacted in this matter. As far as the criminal act is concerned, if somebody had murdered a person when it was Stavanguru Kochi, previous place, 1947 or something, before the merger of the country, state, of the country, relative state, country, then that was supposed to be a war. If it was supposed to be a war and the murder is committed, then after that, after the independence, it should not be considered as a murder because it was a war. It was not a purposeful criminal action. So, as far as criminal act is concerned, retrospective effect is not there. But this is a civil case. In it, the retrospective effect is there. But again, the Munambam issue is that in Malayalam we say, Kattil Pandavarmar, Kattil Kalu Pandavarmar means 5 persons of Pandava. Or Kattil Kalu Bole means like the beds, it is 4. മൂന്ന്, 3. So it is neither 5 nor 4. Whether it is a real owner, whether it is a WAQF property, and whether it is a retrospective effect is practical here. All these questions together stands Munambam issue, WAQF issue in India. Yeah, may God give the right verdict.